Oh boy, let's talk about this CDC eviction moratorium. Um, it got struck down by Supreme Court twice, and it's on the ropes. So the Biden administration is urging the states to pass their own eviction moratorium locally, so that that's constitutional if the states want to do that. But not quite sure if the struggle for landlords over yet, or will be, because this sets a really bad precedent for property rights in general. You know, like, well, let's say global warming is a threat to people, or obesity, or crime. For you can see the CDC now for any perceived or imaginary reason, health reason, quote unquote, if enact any kind of like a moratorium like that again. Completely destroying people's property rights. So this is not the battle is far from over. Um, Even their original reason, the original logic was pretty simple, and not even backed by any kind of. It's more by left wing ideology than any kind of like real facts. As of their logic went that because of COVID, so many people lost their jobs. So, and then all these people are going to end up evicted and homeless, and in these crowded homeless shelters, they're going to get COVID. So, we got to put a stop on evictions. But now that people haven't been paying their rent for years, now I believe this is going to backfire tremendously, and a lot more people are going to get evicted. People have a hard time saving any kind of money. The average American, or whatever the statistic is, doesn't have $500 worth of savings. So they're definitely not going to have $10,000 worth of back rent now. Not that they spent it all and just bought an additional car or whatever. I mean, it could have been made if, let's say, if you're a bad tenant, your credit is shot anyway, and the average rent maybe is $1,200. Well, I guess financially it could make sense. Hey, I'm not gonna get kicked out for a year. Shit, I'm gonna save save $1,200 a month. At the end of this year, I'll have $10,000. I can buy a new car or whatever, and just peace out on the landlord. I think a lot of people are planning to do that, even though it's probably not politically correct to say that. But yeah, I think it's completely backfired, and it's going to lead to a ton more evictions. On top of that, it's going to lead to way higher rent. In my eyes, the the loans that the commercial loans that real estate investments that they take on, they have relatively a low interest rate, because banks see real estate as a pretty safe asset that always kind of generally there's a certain vacancy rate, but in general you can rent it out. You can it's pretty you can guess it's pretty predictable that from this area with this condition building you can get X amount of dollars. Therefore, we're not taking such a heavy risk. But now, if you factor in that, hey, for any kind of like perceived health reason, the government can stop evictions, and the landlord might have to take a 20% or how many people haircut, or how many people are not going to be paying rent, and the default risk is much more serious now. I feel like interest rate on these loans is going to have to go up. I mean, if the risk goes up, the interest rate has to go up. I don't know if maybe if you get your loan through the FHA or some government thing, and you pose as like owner occupied, and those mortgage rates might not change. But for commercial lending, I expect those rates to go up. And the evidence, just the logic of it, thinking, I mean, we have the vaccine now, right? I mean, they're touting the vaccine as it works so perfectly. This is an awesome thing, right? Get your vaccine. This is like 99% effective. Well, if it's so effective, well, just get the vaccine. I mean, even if you're going to be infected, I mean, where's the proof? This is like without any kind of evidence whatsoever. There is no evidence that people that will get evicted, how many of those people will end up in a homeless shelter. I mean, a lot of people just actually have family that's or friends that they could stay with. I think very few amount of people will actually, very small percentage would actually end up in a homeless shelter. And if you do, you have this awesome free vaccine that don't apparently make you bulletproof. So I don't see why landlords have to bear the burden of housing people that can't pay rent or just choose not to.